Okay, hello, and welcome back to my full collection declutter series. I am picking up where we left off last time with my highlighters. So if you missed the first video, I will have that linked in the description box below. I give a little disclaimer at the beginning that I would love for you to listen to. But for the sake of time, I think we better jump in because I've got lots of cheek products that I'm hoping to share with you today and go through, and lip products as well. So I'm gonna get started with my highlighter collection. Right off the bat, I need to get rid of this. This is a sample of the Kevyn Aucoin Celestial Powder in the shade Candlelight. I've had this for years, probably over a decade at this point, and I don't know why I haven't been able to part with this. I think when I first got it, I considered Kevyn Aucoin to be like a very bougie brand that would never be in my price range. And I'm sure Kevyn Aucoin is still very expensive, but I don't reach for this highlighter much. I mean, I don't really feel like it has much in the way of a sheen. It might be a face powder. Oh, ignore the glitter, by the way. That was from my glitter eyeshadows. It almost looks like it's meant to be a face powder, like the Hourglass ambient lighting powders. It just doesn't have a lot of reflectiveness to it, and I don't use it, and it's tiny and 1,000 years old, and it's just time to throw this one away. So I am getting rid of this one. This is the highlighter that I'm currently working on panning in my Project 10 pan, I think it is. No, it's my Graveyard Project pan. So this is a mini of the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in the shade Opal. Even though it's a mini, there is a ton of product in here, and I'm going to be working on this for a while. Mine shattered and I had to repress it, which is why it looks a little bit bumpy in the pan. But yeah, this is not going to be going anywhere anytime soon. I think it's definitely a long haul product. I've also been working on my Wander Beauty On the Glow blush and illuminator in that project. So on one side it has a blush, and on the other side it has a cream highlighter. So I'm holding on to this primarily to finish up the blush. I have been using the highlighter from time to time when I have this product out, but when I finish up the blush, hopefully in that project, I'll probably declutter this because it is expired and the smell is starting to change. 12 months shelf life. I've had it way longer than that. So yeah, I'm just kind of working on this mainly for the blush, using the highlighter from time to time, and then I will be having to throw this one out. A product that I really love, but that I don't use enough, is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Beauty Light Wand. Mine is in the shade Spotlight, and it is such a pretty highlighter. It's a gorgeous, very reflective, almost like metallic sheen, but it doesn't look like too much on your face. I would like to use this more than I currently do, so maybe I can put this in my makeup bag, or yeah, just have it out where I can find it, because I love this product, but for one reason or another, I never seem to reach for it. But I will definitely be keeping it. We've then got 2 shimmer bricks from Bobbi Brown. And in my last declutter, I tried to declutter these and somehow they ended up back in my collection. These are pretty. I like the idea of them. Like this pink one in particular looks like it would be really, really pretty. I don't know what it is that keeps me from reaching for them. I mean, this one, it makes more sense why I wouldn't be reaching for it because it's so bronzy, so that was never going to work as a highlighter for me anyway. I don't think there's anything wrong with the Bobbi Brown shimmer bricks, but I definitely got them before I was really into highlighting, and so they've been sitting around a while. Maybe I will hang on to this one in the shade Pink a little bit longer and try to put it in a project or something so that I can see if I like it and if I can get some use on it. And maybe what I'll do is I'll give away this one in the shade Bronze to someone who might be able to use it as a highlighter. I would say I could use it as an eyeshadow, but I have about 1,000 bronze shimmery eyeshadows in my collection, in my eyeshadow palette, so I really don't need it for that reason either. So yeah, I think I'm going to try to declutter this one once and for all and give this one another shot. If I still haven't used this by the next time I declutter though, it definitely needs to go. This Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powder in the shade Precious Petals is also old. I remember this because I did a huge Wet n Wild haul during the height of the pandemic, and that's how I know how old most of my Wet n Wild products are, because yeah, I ordered most of them all together. When I swatch this out, it looks really, really pretty though. It's kind of a peachy sheen. I think I'm gonna hang on to this. It looks barely touched. I have used it here and there, but maybe another one I can put in a project and get some more use on, because it does look really pretty in the swatch. So yeah, I'm gonna hold on to hope that I can use this a bit more, and if by the next declutter I still haven't used it, kind of like with the Bobbi Brown Shimmer Brick in pink, I will have to let go of it then. Then we have the Kaleidos Moon Cruiser in the shade Space Age, or is it the Space Age highlighter in the shade Moon Cruiser? I never know. But this one is so cool. It's a really pretty icy highlight, but it has a duochrome to it that turns from purple to blue on your skin. It almost looks like it's glowing when you have it on the cheeks. So this is one that I don't use all that often, but whenever I am doing a purple or a blue look, I will reach for it because I think it's so cool and so pretty, and I'm definitely keeping it. And then finally we have my Phytosurgeons Spectral Shine in the shade Fresh Fog. I wanted to love this, but I think I just didn't get the right shade for me or something. It's a really hard poured formula, so you're supposed to kind of like take a key or a coin and scratch it up like this. I know I have a friend who would love to have this. I think it's just too light for my skin tone to warrant the amount of work that I have to do to get it on the brush and get it onto my face. So it makes it really hard for me to want to reach for it, but I imagine there's probably somebody I know who could use this shade and love it, so I am going to pass this one along. I am a blush lover. If you have seen any of my videos, you probably know that, so I have a lot of blushes. I'm gonna try to move quickly through this just so this video doesn't take hours, but I'll try to at least show you all the blushes that I have so that this can serve as like sort of like a collection video at the same time as it is a declutter. So I'm definitely keeping my blush from Vive in the shade Pesca. This is my only powder blush in this pretty peachy kind of a shade, so that is not going anywhere. I'm keeping both of my Bobbi Brown powder blushes. This one is in the shade Slopes, it's my favorite, and this one is in the shade Sand Pink. I've had so many Bobbi Brown powder blushes over the years. Even before I was really into makeup, it's just a really good, reliable powder blush formula that looks really pretty on your skin, so I'm keeping these. I recently purchased this in July from RMS Beauty. It's their Hydra powder blush in the shade Maiden's Blush. I actually just recently got the chance to try this, so I'm looking forward to trying it out a little bit more, but it's brand new, so I'm obviously keeping. Another one that's newer to my collection is the Suq Pure Color Blush in the shade 139. I bought this summer when I was in London, so it's special because it holds memories from that trip. And it's also just a gorgeous product and a really nice shade, so I'm keeping that. This is a Tom Ford blush in the shade Wicked. I'm sure it's from a discontinued collection, but it is the most gorgeous bright pink shade. The formula is really finely milled and easily blendable, and I love it, and it makes me feel super bougie when I use it, even though I got it at the discount cosmetic store, so I'm keeping that. I bought this Clinique Cheek Pop in the shade Cola Pop a while ago, and you can't even tell that I've used it, even though I have. It has that really pretty like flower embossing in it. I know Julia Adams really likes these, so I'm looking forward to using it more this fall because I think it's a really pretty unique color, so keeping that. This is actually a pretty similar color. This is from Make Beauty, and it's their Skin Mimetic Micro Suede Blush Refill because I received it as a gifted product in exchange for a review. They just sent me the refill version in a plastic case, which is absolutely fine. The shade is called Eros, and it is a beautiful kind of plummy, muted plum shade. I really, really love this and can see myself using this a lot in the fall as well. I'm gonna keep my Charlotte Tilbury Cheek to Chic Swish and Glow blusher in the shade Pillow Talk. This is one that I don't reach for enough. I think it's really pretty. I don't know why I don't reach for this more. I need to put this in a project or something, but I think you all know I love Charlotte Tilbury, so it's no surprise that I love this blush and I will be keeping it. Now we are definitely getting down to some older products. So I've got this blush from Flower Beauty. It's one of their Flower Pots powder blush in the shade Sweet Pea. I think I had this in my Project 5 uses earlier in the year, and it's a really nice blush. It's very dependable, easily blendable, pretty, goes with any eye look. It's old, but I don't know. I don't really feel like I have a reason to get rid of this, so I'm keeping this one. I've then got a mineral blush from Becca Cosmetics in the shade Flower Child. I don't think that this still exists because I don't think it's part of the Smashbox like collab that they did with Becca. If that's incorrect, please let me know, but I haven't seen any of the Becca blushes come up when I've seen the Smashbox and Becca collab products. This is a really pretty shade. It's like a coral, lighter coral. It's got a little bit of a metallic sheen to it. Again, I probably don't use it enough, but I like it and there's nothing wrong with it, so I think I'm gonna keep it. Declutter is obviously going well. I knew blush was going to be a tough one for decluttering. I think I am going to declutter this though. This is the Wet n Wild Color Icon in Mellow Wine. It was part of that haul during the peak of the pandemic that I mentioned earlier, and I wanted to like this a lot. It's a pretty color. I like the kind of neutral coral color of it, but for some reason I don't like the way that this looks on my cheeks. I feel like it looks really heavy, and maybe it's because it's just cheaper ingredients. Like the first ingredient is talc, so I don't know if that makes a difference, but when a blush sits heavy on your cheeks like that, I feel like it just kind of ages your skin and emphasizes pores. So I definitely don't reach for this for that reason, so I'm gonna pass this along. Do we think it's expired? Do we think it's too expired to give to someone else? Maybe. 2019 was how many years ago? Gosh, I don't even want to think about that at this point. Okay, let's now take a look at my cream and liquid blushes, which I obviously have many of because it's my favorite formula to use for blush, and blush is also one of my favorite makeup products. There's a few here that are just really obvious keeps, like the Moira stuff. I just got these from them in a giveaway. What do they call these? They're Love Steady liquid blushes. This brighter pink is the shade 05 So Cute, and the more rosy neutral one is 07 Trust. I've only used these in that video, so definitely need to get some more use out of these, and I will be keeping them. I've got two of the Tarte Sea Breezy cream blushes. I've got the shade Berry Bliss and the shade Pink Sky. This is my favorite cream blush formula, and obviously I will be keeping these. This is actually a half cream, half powder. It's the Patrick Ta Double Take Cream and Powder Blush in the shade She's So LA. I always struggle to open this. It's definitely a brownie shade for me, but sometimes I really like that. If there's a lot going on the eyes, or if I'm just doing like a full kind of 90s or more brown monochromatic look, I actually really like this shade, even though it looks like it could be a bronzer. Yeah, for just like sculpting the cheeks. And the cream blush actually has a touch of like a terracotta to it, so it ends up being a little bit less scary than it looks in here, so I'm definitely going to be keeping this. I've got two Phytosurgence cream blushes. These are their Skin Spark. So I've got the shade Fume, which is like a neutral pink, and I've got the shade Inferno, which is a really beautiful terracotta orange. These haven't had the same thing happen which happened to my Phytosurgence cream eyeshadows, which if you haven't seen the first declutter video, I kind of go more in depth about that, but my cream shadows from them somehow dried out, and these are still fine. So I'm going to be holding on to both of these. We've got another blush in like the sample packaging. This is from Kier Weiss. It's their cream blush. I want to say the shade is Embrace, but it doesn't have the shade on it because it's a sample. But it's just a really pretty light pink. I received this in exchange for review, which is why the packaging looks like that, but it's a really easy shade to wear, I mean, and a really nice formula, so I'm keeping it. The Danessa Myricks Blush Balm, I got mine in the shade Bellini. It's the Yummy Skin Blush Balm, I guess it's called. I got mine from Skeepers when they first launched these, and I really liked this formula, and the color is unlike anything else that I have. I think I actually filmed a video of my first impressions with this, so if I can find that, I'll try to have it linked below, but definitely keeping this. Love the shade. I think the formula is really innovative and cool. Same goes for my Melt Cream Blush Light in Sandy Cheeks. It's another kind of more orangey cream blush. This is super pigmented, by the way. The other day I went in a little bit ham with my brush in here, and there ended up being enough cream blush on my brush to last me like the next 2 times I did my makeup. So a little goes a long way with this one, but this is newer to my collection and I've really been loving it, so it's going nowhere. I also really like the MAC Glow Play. I have the shade So Natural. I feel like this is getting older in my collection, so I probably need to focus on this in my panning goals for next year. If you haven't tried this formula, it's really cool and unique. It's almost like putty-like, so it feels a little bit dry and airy, but it makes for the most seamless and gorgeous blend on the cheeks, so I'm keeping that. One that I think I'm actually going to declutter though is the e.l.f. Luminous Putty Blush. So this one you would think would be like the MAC Glow Play because it says it's a putty blush. I just never loved this. I know a lot of people really like the e.l.f. putty blushes. There's just something about this that's too silicone-y for me, and it just feels not nice on my skin. It's like it's too thin to grip on and have longevity on my cheeks, but if I try to layer it up, it starts to feel greasy and like it never sets down. Maybe it's because it's one of the luminous ones and the regular putty blushes are different, but yeah, I've used this only a handful of times and I haven't really liked it any of the times that I've used it. So I'm sure I have a friend who would want to try this out, so I'll pass this one along. I received some products to try in exchange for review from By Terry, and this is their Brightening CC Liquid Blush in the shade Rosy Flash. It's a really weird way of applying blush. Like you have to click it to get the blush out, and then it comes out through this like little paint brush. So the application technique takes some getting used to, but I actually really like the product itself. It's a really pretty color. It's very thin and it's almost like you can't feel it on your cheeks, but it gives a really nice kind of glow and flush to the cheeks. So I'm going to hold on to this one. Initially, I felt like it was just a weird way to apply blush, and I still kind of feel that way, but I don't know. I've grown to like it enough to want to try it some more, so I'm going to hold on to it. I have a Danessa Myricks Color Fix in my blush drawer because this shade ended up being a lot more pinky than I thought it would be. I got the shade Creme Brulee because I thought it would be like a neutral for an eyeshadow base, but it's actually, and you don't need very much of these at all, you just need like the tiniest little pinprick. It's actually like a plummy pink that makes for a really nice, really long wearing blush. If you've never tried the Danessa Myricks Color Fix, they are waterproof and they don't move. So if there's ever a time where I want my blush to stay on forever and ever and ever, this is actually a really good option for that. So yeah, I'm keeping this. I think I am the only person who is not the biggest fan of the Tower 28 cream blushes. I have this in the shade Magic Hour. It just looks disgusting. I'm sorry. There's so many brush hairs in there, so I'm not going to get this too close to the camera, but I think I'm going to be throwing this out, which I know is probably sacrilege because so many people love this cream blush. This was always too emollient for me. I think that's why I like so many of these other cream blush formulas so much, is because they're a little bit more on the dry side. And this one is just, it doesn't set down, which drives me nuts in products, as we've learned throughout this declutter series. It feels a little bit heavy, like it's got oils in there. It's starting to get that Play-Doh smell. I'm sure it's expired because Tower 28 is a clean beauty brand, and I've already had a lip gloss from them expire way before it should have expired, according to the label. So I think it's just time for this one to go. Not my preferred cream blush, but I understand a lot of people like it. So if it was in better condition, I would try to give it away. But the fact that it's expired and so gross, I think it's just got to go at this point. Another one I think I'm going to get rid of was a Declutter to Me from my friend Vivian, who has a YouTube channel. So I'll have her link down below. And she asked me if I wanted this, and I said yes because I had never tried anything from M Cosmetics, and this is still the only thing that I've tried from M Cosmetics. It's one of their serum blushes in the shade Venetian Rose. I remember when Vivian gave this to me, she said, just beware the stopper doesn't work. And she was right. The stopper does not work. I tried to get it to work. I know there's like, you have to push it down and then put it in here and then try to fill it up and then bring it out, and then you're supposed to be able to squeeze it and get the product out or something. I watched several videos about it, could never really get the stopper to work, so I ended up just doing this number where I was kind of like putting a little bit on the back of my hand and then dipping a brush in and then applying to my cheeks that way. The formula of this is not worth all of that extra work to me. It doesn't last on my cheeks, which is a pet peeve of mine with cream and liquid blushes. I have to have some kind of longevity, and this one, my skin just kind of absorbs it. It's a beautiful color, and I really like the idea of this, and I'm so thankful that Vivian let me try this. But it's definitely expired by now, and the stopper doesn't work, and it's already been decluttered once, so I think it's time for this one to go. And then last but not least is my Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm Beauty Light Wand in the shade Pinkgasm. Gosh, this was wildly viral. Was it last summer? And no one could get their hands on it. It really is a beautiful product. I don't use it enough, but I do like it, so I will be keeping it. Okay, we got through blushes. I am so proud of us. Now it's time to move on to bronzers. I can't find my e.l.f. contour wand that looks kind of like the Milani and the Charlotte Tilbury ones. It's really frustrating that I can't find that right now, but just know that I was planning to keep that anyway. So when I do find it, it'll be going right back into my collection. My Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood contour wand, I have the shade Fair Medium. This one's almost finished up, so I'm working on finishing this up and getting it out of my collection. Would I repurchase? If I could get it on some sort of sale, then for sure. I know we have tons of alternatives now from the drugstore, but I don't know. To me, nothing really compares to this. I know there's a lot of things that have come close and there's a lot of good alternatives, but I love this product. That being said, I will also keep my Milani liquid contour in the shade Honey. This is another really great option and definitely meets my needs in terms of a liquid contour. After I finish this one up, I'll be happy to have this one and the e.l.f. one to use in my routine. I'm going to keep this mini Benefit Hoola. I don't even know how many Benefit Hoolas I've been through at this point in my life. It used to be the bronzer that I used all the time in high school. I think I ended up getting this one as like a gift with purchase or a points perk or something. So I haven't used it a ton, but I know I will use it because it's a great shade and just a nice matte bronzer. So I'm going to hold on to this one. The minis of these also take forever to get through. So if you're looking for a really nice bronzer and a bang for your buck, I think you could get the mini of this and have it for like a full year plus with daily use, no problem. I am going to keep my Marc Jacobs Tantastic in the shade, my Marc Jacobs Omega Bronze in the shade Tantastic. I got this from TJ Maxx when Marc Jacobs ceased to be a brand, or Marc Jacobs Beauty rather. Apparently they're coming back, so I wonder if they'll bring this bronzer back, but it is a really nice bronzer. I've been using it a ton recently, so I'm keeping that. Also, of course, keeping my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush bronzer. I have the shade Medium. Recently hit pan on this, and it's another really excellent matte powder bronzer, so I will be keeping. Keeping with matte bronzers, I've also got the e.l.f. Primer Infused bronzer. I don't know why this sticker says blush. It's definitely bronzer, in the shade Forever Sunkissed. If I can get it open. This is also a really good option for a very affordable powder bronzer. It's really similar to the Charlotte Tilbury and the Marc Jacobs Beauty, so you can't really get the Marc Jacobs Beauty one right now. The Charlotte Tilbury one is like $1 million, so this is a really nice alternative. I take this one with me a lot when I travel, and if you're looking for an affordable powder bronzer, I do like this one. This was definitely a gift with purchase or a points perk. It's a tiny baby NARS Laguna. I used to use NARS Laguna a lot back in the day as well. I am probably going to pass this along to somebody. It bothers me that I can't get my big fluffy bronzer brush in here. For reference, like let me show you the e.l.f. one. The pan is just tiny. It's like an eyeshadow pan. So maybe someone else will really like that it's so little. So I'm going to pass this one along, but yeah, I don't reach for it because it bothers me that I can't get my brush in there. These are both reclutters from my last declutter. I said I was going to get rid of them and try to find homes for them, and no one ended up wanting them, and I couldn't throw them away because there's still so much product left in these. I still don't really like either of these. First of all, the Freck Face Hack is tiny. It is, I mean, mini bronzers are just not my thing. I like a lot of bronzer, okay? I have the shade Fair, and it is not dark enough for a bronzer shade for me. It's just way too light and peachy. I don't want this, but I think I could probably make it work. So maybe I'll hold on to it one more time, and if I still am not using it by the time of the next declutter, I will just get rid of it. Same for the Merit Bronze Balm. I have the shade Clay. This is also really light. I was sent both of these in exchange for a review, by the way, so I didn't spend my own money on them, which probably makes it a less bitter pill to swallow. But this one, the shade is a little bit darker, but even this is still too light to really show up on me. And the texture is like Vaseline. Like if you are someone with dry skin, sometimes a balmy texture is a good thing, and sometimes it's not, because your skin will drink it and then you'll have no pigment left, which is what tends to happen to me with this one. So if anyone wants either of these, I will happily gift them because they're barely used. If no one wants them, I'll hold on to them, and I still have them by the time of the next declutter. They'll be expired anyway, so I will have to get rid of them at that point. And then we have my Tarte Sea Breezy cream bronzer. This is a similar formula to my favorite cream blush. Mine is in the shade Seychelles, and this is pretty new, so I will obviously be keeping this. I really like it. It's really easy to blend. The shade is a touch lighter than maybe I would love in like the heat of summer, but for winter, I think this is going to be a perfect shade for me. Since we did highlighter, blush, and bronzer, it seems like now is a good time to do face palettes because most of my face palettes are highlighter, blushes, and bronzer face palettes. So I will go through these. I can feel my voice already starting to go, and we still have all of my lip products to get through for this video, so I need to be less chatty and really move through these. So this is a stack from Subtle Beauty. You can do pretty much an entire face of makeup with these. I had the old version, and then they did a reformulation, and so I also have a new version. One of them is in another place in my house right now, so I don't have both to show you, but I do like these. I don't use them every day, but they're nice for travel, so I'm keeping. This is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Mini. I don't know if anyone else remembers this. It's from several years ago. I did not like this when I first got it, but weirdly, I really like it now, so I'm keeping it. There's still a lot of product in here. I can still get a ton more use out of this. I've already started to kind of flatten the bronzer out as well, if you can see. This is another one that's really good for travel because it's got all your powder products in one, and I like it, so I'm keeping this. I actually don't know if I'm going to declutter any of my face palettes. So maybe I'll just go through them all with you. The one that I could see myself maybe decluttering is this contour powder kit in light to medium from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I really like this palette though, just for this shade. This is a really nice contour shade for me. So I guess I could think about taking this pan out and sticking it into like a magnetic palette or something and getting rid of the rest of the palette. But I do dip into some of these other shades from time to time, so I don't think it's worth getting rid of it. Maybe another one I'll reevaluate in my next declutter, but for now, I do like this, so I'm keeping it. This is another one that probably needs to be broken up into its constituent parts because the eyeshadows in here are great. By the way, this is the e.l.f. and Jen Atkin collab. Really cool idea that e.l.f. came out with. I wish they would come out with more face and eye palettes like this because it was really convenient. The highlighter in here shattered, which was actually fine because I didn't love this shade as a highlighter anyway, so I sometimes just use these little remnants as an eyeshadow. Love the eyeshadows in here. They're all matte and they're all great neutral brown shades, apart from this one, which is a really good setting shade that I've hit pan in. And the bronzer is okay. I think it's similar to maybe the primer infused bronzer. You can kind of see the waffle pan even peeking through there. So I'm not too far away from potentially hitting pan on this one. The blush I can use if I need to, like if I needed to take this traveling for some reason, I can use the blush, but it's not my favorite because it's really sparkly. Like it's got glitter in it that makes my pores really emphasized and I don't love that. So if I could, I would try to just get rid of the blush and the highlighter, depot the eyeshadows and the bronzer, and make my own face palette. But I'm not sure how I would be able to get these out and if I have the skill to be able to do it. So for now, it's just going to remain like it is in my collection. I purchased the Patrick Ta, or actually, no, I didn't. I received this as a Christmas gift. The Major Headlines Blush Palette. This is the first generation one. And this one is amazing. I know the one that came out this past holiday season people did not like. That was the one with the highlighter in it. And it's a shame that they didn't just keep this around or make this permanent because this one is great. It's got 3 really fun shades in the creams and the powders, and I love and use all of the shades in this. I use the creams and I use the powders. I don't dip into it often enough, but I definitely should because this is a gorgeous palette and I'm keeping it. I've got 2 blush and highlighter palettes from Pat McGrath Labs. Both of these I think were purchased at TJ Maxx. If you're not looking for Pat McGrath at TJ Maxx and Marshalls, you should be because so much of their stuff is going there lately, it seems. This is the Celestial Odyssey Divine Blush and Glow Trio. So it's 2 blushes and a highlighter. Blushes are in the shade Divine Rose, Desert Orchid, and Golden Nectar. And these are really nice, really, really beautiful. I need to use these more. I wanted to try the Pat McGrath blush and highlighter formula because so many people rave about them. So I thought getting the trio would be a good way to try it all in one. And I really, really like them, especially for TJ Maxx prices. And then this year there was a larger palette that came out that had different shades in it. So this one comes with 4 blushes and a highlighter. Similar names, but I do think, okay. So there is one repeat in here. It's Divine Rose. The others are different. So I'll go ahead and show you this one. Again, stunning. Need to get more use out of it. I've used it, you know, infrequently because typically I go for a cream blush. But when I want a powder blush, this is always really tempting. And I really like the highlighter as well for like a really full glam look. So definitely keeping. You all know I'm keeping this. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm face palette in the shade Lovegasm. I just got this in England over the summer at the Charlotte Tilbury flagship store. So it's very cool to have a souvenir from that trip and from that location. These shades are a little deep for me when I'm not tan. So like in the winter, so I'll be interested to see how much use I get out of this in the winter. At least I'll be able to use the bronzer and maybe the blushes, if not the highlighter, but just such a stunning face palette. So that's not going anywhere. And this isn't going anywhere either. This is the MAC Step Bright Up Extra Dimension Skin Finish Palette Light. I believe this is from their last holiday collection. It's got a really pretty kind of pearl highlight, a bronze highlight, and then a duochrome one that's a little bit pinky purpley. I'm running out of space to swatch things, but I will swatch that one for you. So it's kind of like the Kaleidos one that I have, but it's just a little bit more subtle and almost more lavender rather than like bright glowing neon purple. The only one that I don't really use out of this is the bronze, but it is very pretty. I should have been using this when I was self-tanning a lot because I feel like that would have been stunning. But yeah, I just really like these. I have very few products from MAC left in my collection, but I always have a special place in my heart for MAC because it's one of the first brands that like I really fell in love with when I first started wearing makeup, and I thought it was like the height of luxury. So every once in a while I pull out a MAC product just to like have that feeling again. But I do obviously love their classic skin finish highlighter formula, and yeah, I think these are good and I'm keeping them. Okay, my friends, we are on the home stretch. I am not doing eyeshadow palettes in this video, so all we have left now is my lip products, which unfortunately for you, I have about 1,000,001 lip products. So I'll try to move through this quickly, but apparently I want to tell you about everything that I have. So we'll see how quickly I can actually go here. Things I know I'm keeping for sure, my Lisa Eldridge lip liner that I just bought in England. Again, very happy to have this in my life. It goes with one of the Lisa Eldridge lipsticks that I bought that you'll see in a minute. This is in the shade Duchess, and I'm obviously keeping it. Because this is like my perfect red lip liner, I am gonna get rid of this one from Revlon that I never really liked that much, but I just never did any research about like a good red lip liner, so I just had this. It's just their Color Stay lip liner in red, and I hated the way that this went on. It just crumbled every time I tried to draw with it, and it's really old, which doesn't help the crumbling situation. So this one is going. Looking at the rest of these, I think the rest of them are staying. I mean, let's see. I've got a couple from NYX. This one is fairly new. It's their Suede Matte Lip Liner in Moonwalk. It's supposed to be a close shade to the Makeup Forever Endless Cacao, and I really, really like this. This one is in the shade Burgundy for when I do like a deeper lip color. So I'm keeping both of these. I've got a few from Charlotte Tilbury here. To be honest, I could probably declutter Pillow Talk from Charlotte Tilbury because it's my least favorite of the three. I love Pillow Talk 2 Medium, and I absolutely love Iconic Nude. It's like my new favorite lip liner ever. So I'm definitely keeping those two. Pillow Talk, you know, it's not a great lip liner shade for me. It's a little light, but I'm not going to get rid of it just yet. I'm going to keep this because sometimes I do use it. And if I ever want to use Pillow Talk lipstick, it does match, obviously. So I'm going to keep this one. I'm keeping my Makeup Forever Aqua Lip in the shade 3C because I believe this has been discontinued, and it's a really nice neutral rose shade that lasts really well. Also keeping my Vive Modern Lip Definer in the shade Brat. This is another really nice kind of warm nude for me, and it goes with so many of my nude lipsticks and brown lipsticks, so I'm keeping. I actually weirdly love the Estee Lauder lip liners, especially in the shade Fig. I guess I could give you a swatch. This has been like my favorite lip liner for years. This was my favorite lip liner all through college when I was really doing like the Kylie Jenner 90s nude lip a lot. I still do that a lot, let's be honest. But it's also just a really good neutral that's not too warm, it's not too brown, and it's not too pink. So I actually like it so much I have a backup of it. Or I think if you buy one of the Estee Lauder ones, it comes with a backup. Something like that. Either way, keeping both of these. You all know about my MAC Whirl lip liner. This is really old, like way too old. But I'm trying to finish it up as best as I can by the end of the year. So I'll probably throw it out at the end of the year because it needs to go. And then I've got another Estee Lauder lip liner. This one's empty. I think this one was Fig. And this one is a different color. Okay, this one I think I can get rid of. Yeah, this is in the shade Cafe Rose, and it was always just too reddy pink. Yeah, almost like magenta. I don't know. I never loved this color on me. I don't really have a lot of lip products that I feel like could use a lip liner like this. Let me actually try. I'm jumping ahead slightly because I want to see what this lip liner would look like with Viva La Vergara from Charlotte Tilbury. I mean, I feel like that could potentially be a good combo. I usually wear this lipstick with Pillow Talk 2 medium. I feel like I might be able to get away with this still. So maybe I won't declutter this just yet today. And then I'm keeping my Huda Beauty Lip Contour 2.0 in Honey Beige. It's definitely a warmer nude for me, but sometimes I like that. So we're keeping it. All right, we're back. I'm so sorry that it's taking me so long to get these declutter videos filmed. Unfortunately, it's just been a really busy time, and YouTube has been the thing that's had to go to the back burner, which sucks because it's my favorite. But we're here today, and I'm gonna go through the remainder of my lip products. So I've got bullet lipsticks and liquid lipsticks that I think are mixed in here. This is a sneaky lip oil that I'm going to save for the next category because I'm going to do lipsticks and then I'm going to do lip gloss and lip oils. Again, if the lighting is not ideal, I'm so sorry. I'm having to film this at night to get it up for you, so I am just hoping that you can see what you need to see. So yes, let's get started. I feel like for the amount of lipstick that I wear, I have way too many lipsticks. I'm much more of like a lip liner and a lip gloss or a lip oil kind of a girl. I do, however, enjoy a hydrating lipstick kind of slash balm hybrid kind of a formula. And I also see some lip products in here that I haven't even tried yet, like this one from e.l.f. This is the Hydrating Core Lip Shine. I got this for a video that I've been working on for a few months at this point, so I really need to get that video finished up as well. So I'm going to put this to the side. Maybe we better actually start with liquid lipsticks because I feel like I don't have quite as many of those. But this is from the brand Violette FR, and I actually just got this recently in PR. It's one of their Petal Bouche lipsticks. It's like a liquid lipstick, and the color is Core Infidel. It's a really pretty like raspberry hot pink, and I think you'll see that I don't really wear that much pink on my lips unless I am like trying to go for a bold lip, and this is definitely a bold color, so I'm going to hold on to this because it's pretty new. I showed you all these in a video maybe in February. They are the Physicians Formula Diamond Last Mineral Wear Lip Creams, and these are a little matte and drying for my taste. They are sort of like that classic liquid lipstick formula, but I like the colors, so I'm going to keep wearing them and trying them, and typically I'll just put a gloss over the top, but they have some really pretty colors of these. The colors I have are Rose Quartz, Majestic Mauve, which is very purpley on me, and Topaz Taupe. This is one I think I can finally get rid of. It's the NYX Lip Lingerie in the shade Baby Doll. This is very much like a concealer lip kind of a look on me. It's pretty old in my collection, which is why I'm going to get rid of it, but I have used it from time to time to try and lighten other lip products that I feel like are too dark, but I have other nude lipsticks that I can use for that purpose, so I think this one's too old and I'm just going to let it go. Both of these are not that old in my collection. I have the Maybelline Superstay Vinyl Ink in the shade 135 Fearless, and the NYX Shine Loud liquid lipsticks maybe in the shade Boundary Pusher. Both of these are dark brownie bold lip colors, beautiful for fall, and I love them, so I'm keeping them. This one from Kaja I think is technically a liquid lip. It's a little bit more of like a mousse texture. It's one of their Love Swipes in the shade 05 I'm Melting, which is another kind of mauvey nude shade. I actually really like the shade of this, so I'm going to keep this one. And then we've got the Kaleidos Lip Clay in the shade Bear, the Smashbox Always On Liquid Lipstick in the shade Out Loud, which is a really nice like pumpkin spice orange, and the Charlotte Tilbury Tinted Love in the shade Blushed Rose. Of the three of these, the Smashbox is more of that like traditional liquid lipstick formula. The Kaleidos Lip Clay, I know a lot of people like. It's not my absolute favorite formula because it's so matte, but it is a little bit more comfortable on the lips for a liquid lipstick. And then this Tinted Love from Charlotte Tilbury is kind of a weird product. It's like, I don't even know if it'll show up if I swatch it on camera, but it's like a gel. So when you put it on the lips, it kind of looks like nothing. I think it's supposed to tint, like leave a tint behind, but whatever tint it is very subtle. You can also use it on the cheeks. It's kind of a weird one, but every once in a while I feel like reaching for it and playing around with it, so I'm going to keep it for now. Okay, I think that's all of my liquid lipsticks. Again, with lip products, it's like, I don't know if this is all of them. I think this is all of them, but lip products are sneaky and sometimes they'll end up like living in a purse for a while until I rediscover them. I guess I can grab out this Rare Beauty lip oil because it kind of reminds me of that Charlotte Tilbury Tinted Love product, in that it's called a lip oil, but it's very much a tint. I have the shade Serenity. Gosh, these were viral. Was it earlier this year or the end of last year? I have no concept of time at this point, but I feel like it was pretty recent. And this is like a pretty, almost like a neutral coral shade. Not a color I reach for a lot, but I don't know. I like having the option in my collection, so I'm going to hang on to it. I've got a couple of lip pencils here. I've got the NYX Lingerie Push Up Long Lasting Lipstick in the shade Push Up. This is a really nice neutral brown. It's very matte, so I would always pair it with a gloss over the top, but I like the color because it's a little bit more grungy than my typical nude. And then this one is one of the NARS Velvet Matte Lip Pencils. I think I got this as like a Sephora perk one year, but it's been in my collection for many years and I just don't wear red that much. And if I do wear red, I'm probably going to reach for my Lisa Eldridge lipstick because I just got this and it's super special. So I'm going to get rid of the NARS. And I'm going to keep all of my Lisa Eldridge lipsticks because I just got them over the summer when I was in England. So just to show you quickly, I have Velvet Ribbon, which is like a beautiful classic red, really gorgeous and flattering on the lips. I have Painterly, which is a little bit more of like a unique color. It's one of the Luxuriously Lucent. So Velvet Ribbon is in like the classic velvet formula. It's a lot more matte. Painterly is in the Luxuriously Lucent formula, so it's a little bit more sheer and balmy. And you can see the color there is just like a really nice neutral mauvey kind of a shade. I can build it up or I can kind of smudge it out to make it more natural depending on what kind of look I'm going for, so keeping that obviously. I also got a new lip product from Vive over the summer when I was in England. This is the Satin Slip Lipstick in Deep Love, which is like the deeper, more grungy older sister of the shade Painterly. Similar formula, a little bit thicker and more pigment, but still that same like mauvey kind of a tone. I really like that tone on my lips. I have some shades here that are tones that I do not like on my lips, so I'll tell you those as we move through because I think I'm going to get rid of those, but yeah, I really like these this color family of lip products on me. While we're doing Vive, I might as well share my other Vive lipsticks. So I have two of the Modern Matte lipsticks. I have Deity and 9Ts. Deity is more of like a neutral, again, it's kind of like a mauvey kind of brownie tone. Definitely more nude though than the Deep Love shade. And then 9Ts is even more brown than that. So I'll swatch them next to each other. 9Ts is a little bit harder for me to wear because I feel like it's pretty warm. but sometimes you just need a grungy lip. Like, I feel like this replaced, what is that MAC lipstick that we all wore in 2016? Velvet Teddy. Oh my gosh. I wore that shade so much and the lipstick was just old and disgusting, but this color from Vive reminds me a little bit of that one. It's a little bit lighter, but it's close enough for what I was wearing Velvet Teddy for in my collection. I guess we might as well keep moving through the bullet lipsticks while we're here. This is a L'Oreal Color Riche and Fairest Nude, which I haven't worn very much, but I really like. I probably don't need to be swatching all of these because we're going to be here forever, and I feel like most people probably know what this shade looks like, but it's just a really pretty wearable nude. This could be good for wedding makeup, potentially. If you are new to my channel, I'm getting married soonish next year, so I have that in the back of my mind as I'm looking through my makeup too. The other shade I thought of for a nice wedding nude is the Pat McGrath Satin Allure Nude Romantique 2. I don't know why I feel like I have to keep the Bridgerton packaging. It's just so pretty. So I keep this lipstick in here even though I've used it, and I absolutely love the packaging of this one. I mean, how cute. And this is also a really nice nude. It's a little bit cooler. Maybe not, actually. It's pretty close to L'Oreal Fairest Nude. It has a little bit more of a shine to it. I feel like that would be really nice for bridal makeup, but it's also just a great everyday wearable kind of pinky nude for me. It's definitely time to say goodbye to this Wet n Wild Mochalicious. It's old and the packaging is gross and I don't reach for this shade. I have other kind of mauvey brownie shades as we've seen in my collection now, and it's just not one I feel like I need to keep. I've had it since before the pandemic. I feel like that's a good cutoff point, especially for lip products, so I'm gonna be throwing that one out. I have a few Charlotte Tilbury because she makes some of my favorite lip formulas. So I have Pillow Talk, which I think we all know what that looks like. It's just her classic neutral pink. I'm going to be keeping all of these, by the way. I've got Walk of No Shame, which is a really pretty wearable, like neutral rose berry shade. It's so, so pretty for fall. I love this one. So definitely keeping that. And I'm also going to keep a shade that's pretty close to that one, which is Viva La Vergara. It's just a tad bit darker and it's got a little bit more brown to it, but both of these, stunning. So easy to wear, so pretty for fall, so I'm not getting rid of those. Then I've got the Superstar Lips in the shade Pillow Talk. This is a little bit more mauvey than the traditional Pillow Talk lipstick, which I think is why I like it so much. You can see it kind of fits in with that mauve family of shades. So flattering, so comfortable on the lips because it has a bit more moisture to it. Similarly, but slightly different, believe it or not, is the Hyaluronic Happy Kiss, which I also have in Pillow Talk. It's a little bit more pigmented and a little bit thicker. And it's also a little bit more pink, but I love it. I really, really love this formula because it's super moisturizing. I've got MAC Modesty, also a potential for a really nice bridal shade. I like that this one is a little bit cooler than these other two. It's got a little bit of that mauve undertone that I like. So yeah, I'm going to be doing some bridal makeup trials, and I haven't decided whether or not I want to film them and share them. So let me know if you'd be interested in that at all. I know there's probably 1,000 bridal makeup videos on YouTube, but, I will be doing some practice runs. So trying to make a mental note of the lipsticks that I should try. I've got my Samantha Ravindall, which I'm working on in a project pan. It's too old. It needs to go, but I'm giving it until the end of the year before I throw it out. I've got this little mini from YSL, Rouge Pure Couture in the shade 70. I feel like this was too pink for me. I got it in one of those like Sephora favorites kits. Yeah, this is not my shade. I'm not a huge fan of pink lipstick on me. Which is weird because I like the way that it looks on other people. Like my mom and I are pretty similar in coloring because obviously she's my mom. But I think she's a little bit more warm toned in her skin tone. she's got a little bit more olive, and I feel like this kind of a shade looks beautiful on her, but I'm not a huge fan of the way it looks on me. So even though it's YSL, I'm going to get rid of it. I feel like it's going to be the same for this Gen C lipstick in the shade Margaret. I really wanted this to be nude, but it just looks so pink on me. Maybe that one is actually workable because it's kind of leaning into the mauvey tones more so than the pink. And it does have a bit more of that neutral aspect to it. I guess I'll keep this one hanging around, and if I haven't used it by the time I declutter again, it definitely needs to go. I've got a Tom Ford Lip Color Satin Matte in the shade Blush Honey that I got from a cosmetics company outlet, and it unfortunately had a little chunk taken out of it, which sucks, but I really like this one. I'm not going to get rid of this one. It's a nice brownie nude, and it's one of my few Tom Ford makeup items that I cherish, so keeping that. Yeah, I think this was the other pinky one that I was thinking of. This is another little tester size. It's the Bare Minerals Honesty. I wanted to love this because I think Hailey Bieber was the one that they used in this campaign, and it looked like a really nice shade on her, but it's just so pink. It's just something about these pink shades I don't love on me, so sorry, Bare Minerals, I'm getting rid of this one. And then as far as like classic bullet lipsticks go, I think I've only got 2 left. So we've got Merit Baby, which I believe I received in PR, which is very cool toned. It's got that kind of mauvey nude thing going for it. It can look a little gray, believe it or not, on my lips, but sometimes I like that if I want to wear a warmer gloss over the top. So I'm going to keep this one, and it's a really comfortable, like, shiny formula. And then this one is Estee Lauder Pure Color Envy in the shade Carnal. For a long time, this was my only red bullet lipstick, but I think I'm going to get rid of this one because I've got Lisa Eldridge Velvet Ribbon now. I think this was a hand-me-down from my mom, like a gift with purchase that she got from Estee Lauder. So it's old, and I don't need it, and I don't love it. So off it goes. And now we get into more of my balmy type lipsticks. This Wet n Wild Rose Comforting Lip Color I got for a video, that same video that I got the e.l.f. lip shine for, which I still haven't filmed, so need to film that video, and I'm gonna keep this for that video. Same with the NYX Filler Instinct in Beach Casual. It's all for a video I'm working on, so I'm keeping this one too. I really like the Tarte Maracuja lip line. Like, I've had the plumping one, which I think this one might be a plumping one. I can't remember. There's a plumping one and there's a non-plumping one, and I prefer the non-plumping ones. I finished a whole one of those, but I've also got this shade, Hibiscus, I think it is. I'm not sure. This is the kind of pink that I feel like is wearable for me. Well, first of all, it's very sheer, but there's something about it that's just a little bit less, I don't know, less stark. So I'm keeping this one. I like the formula of these, but the packaging is terrible because eventually it'll stop clicking up, and then I have to like dig out the product with the lip brush, which is annoying. But I do like the formula because it's super hydrating. Ooh, I love this lipstick. This is a Dior Addict 720 Icon. It's like a really nice kind of rusty red, but the formula of these is so lovely. It can be really sheer and comfortable on the lips. I would like to get a more neutral shade in this line. These two are the Moira signature lipsticks that I just got from them, so I'm going to continue trying them. I'm not going to get rid of them just yet. This is the Flower Beauty Plump Up Gloss Stick. I don't remember what shade I have in this, but it's like the most neutrally brown one. I also got this one for that video that I'm working on that's all about lip products. So I'm going to keep this one to keep trying and to show in that video. I've got a Clinique Black Honey, which has been viral for like a few years now, but I love it in the fall, especially when you just want like a little kiss of color and it's really moisturizing. I'm sure most of you have probably seen this. And also the e.l.f. that I talked about earlier, the Hydrating Core Lip Shine, I think is supposed to be kind of like a dupe, so it'll be interesting to try these two side by side. Even though this is not my favorite shade, it's a little too pink for me. I'm probably going to keep it. This is the YSL Rouge Volupte Shine in the shade 150. It's a really nice balmy texture. And you can see it's a little bit pinky and a little bit peachy for my taste, but I feel like it's sheer enough that I can wear it and still like it on my skin tone. And also the packaging is just to die for. Like, I'm not going to get rid of this just to get rid of it. I'm going to try to get some more use out of it. So I think that leaves these, and I think I'm just going to get rid of all of these. It's the Glossier Ultra Lip in the shade Villa. I do like this formula a lot, but I don't love this color on me. It's too pink. On a lot of people, it looks neutral and really pretty. On me, it just looks too pink. I'm running out of space. It's too kind of coral or something. Something about it just drains all of the life out of my face. So, and it's also old. I got it, I believe, right after the pandemic or still during the pandemic, one of the two. So it probably needs to go anyway. This Supergoop, I loved the idea of. It's a sunscreen in a lip balm, but it gets in your mouth, first of all, and tastes like chemical sunscreen, and I don't really want to be eating that. And also it gets super melty. Like if it's in your pool bag or something and you need to go to reapply it, it's like melted and too hot to touch to your lips. I think I got this one for a review. Didn't love it. Not for me. Getting rid of it. And the sunscreen also expires. So it's like, I don't know. How long is this even valid for? I have no idea, but I'm getting rid of it. And then another little tester that I just couldn't get myself to love. It's the NARS Afterglow, I think. Afterglow lip balm. Tiniest writing in the world in the shade Laguna. Love the idea of this. It's another one of those kind of like sheer balmy products. But this just looks like yellowy orange on my lips. It looks like it would be a really nice brown on somebody who doesn't have as much like natural red pigment to their lips as I do. On me, it just looks weird, and it also has a little like specks of glitter in it, and I don't love that because I can feel it when I rub my lips together, so that's going to go as well. I am going to go wipe off all of these lip swatches, and then I'll come back and we can finally finish up with lip gloss. Okay, we're back. I got most, if not all, of that off of my hand. Some of those tinting ones you can see definitely left their tint behind. And I also noticed I have one more bullet lipstick, another like a couple more balmy like stick type lipsticks, and then a liquid lipstick or two. So let's just run through those first. So this is MAC Patisserie. It's another classic nudie pink shade from MAC. I'm gonna keep this. This is sort of like a liquid lipstick gloss hybrid. I really like the formula of this. It's the Wet n Wild Mega Last Liquid Catsuit High Shine Lipstick in the shade Send Nudes. This is from before the pandemic, from that big Wet n Wild order that I made, or during the pandemic, at the start of the pandemic, whatever. So I think it's too old, but in the future, if I wanted like a really nice drugstore lip product, I actually really like this because it has like the wear time and the pigment of a liquid lipstick, but it doesn't feel drying, and it has a little bit of a gloss to it. So I would probably repurchase this in the future. The Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink, however, I probably wouldn't repurchase. Mine is in the shade Hazelnut Hypnotizer. They did like a coffee collection, and all of these smelled like a coffee drink. It still smells a little bit like hazelnut, but it definitely smells like it's gone a little bit off. I just was never a huge fan of how this looked on my lips. I felt like the amount of orange in the tone made it a little bit unflattering, and it was also just really matte. I don't know, just was never the hugest fan of this, so I think I'm just going to get rid of this one. It's been in my collection for several years, and I'm not reaching for it, so off it goes. I feel like this is the most successful portion of my declutter so far, probably because I'm a little bit more grossed out by having really, really old lip products than I am having really old, like, cheek products. So yeah, some of these are pretty old and definitely need to be let go of. I found a few more holdouts for like moisturizing lipsticks. So this is the Clinique Chubby Stick in the shade 03 Fuller Fig. This is a really nice, just kind of like rosy berry shade. Another really good one for fall. It reminds me a little bit of the Clinique Black Honey, but maybe just like a touch lighter in shade. And I like to layer this with a lip balm so that it still looks really like moisturized and nourished, but I do think it's a pretty color, so I'm keeping. And then I think I'm keeping both of these. So this is the Hourglass Phantom something volumizing glossy balm. Mine is in the shade Haze, which is a red, and I wish I had one of the more neutral shades of this, but it is very sheer and it's so pretty on the lips that yeah, I don't feel like it's like a huge commitment when I'm wearing it like I do with other bold lip colors. The formula is just so beautiful. So I would love to try some more neutral shades of this. I think they just released some more neutral shades, so I'll have to look into that. But yeah, it's super nice formula. And then this one I don't think has a label on it. I got this as like a press sample when I did some content for Make Beauty. I don't remember exactly what these are called, but I know I have the shade Radicchio, which is another like kind of rusty red, sort of like a wearable red, but definitely a little bit more pigment, even though it's still moisturizing. Oh, I also have one of the Makeup by Mario Moisture Glows. This is really nice. I got the shade Mauve Glow. I know that's going to be a huge surprise. I feel like I've said the word mauve 1,000 times since I started recording. But these are really thick, nourishing, beautiful. They're supposed to have like a plumping effect, but I feel like it's just like a hint of a peppermint tingle and then it's over. Like I don't notice that there's a huge plumping sensation on my lips, and I also don't notice that it like makes my lips all that much larger, but I just like the product for an everyday easy lip. And then another little sample size. See, this is why I don't go for the Sephora favorites kits anymore, because I end up with a bunch of these little like travel size lip products. Like look at all of these. They're all either Sephora like point perks or from those Sephora favorites, and I just don't love any of them. Like they're not shades that I would pick for myself. I wanted to like this one. This is the Rare Beauty Dewy Lip Balm in the shade Thankful. It's not dewy, and it's also not very nourishing as a lip balm. So yeah, it's just not a favorite. The color's nice, but it also looks like it has like eyeliner or something on it. It looks a little yucky, so I'm just gonna get rid of that one with all of my other tiny little lip products from Sephora. And finally, we made it to lip gloss. This is actually not as much lip gloss as I thought I had. I feel like I go through lip glosses faster than I think I do, which is a good thing, because in the past I've definitely bought more lip gloss than I have used. So this one from Summer Fridays, you can probably tell, I think it's pretty much gone, but I'm in denial because I don't want it to be gone because I love it. It's the Lip Butter Balm in Vanilla Beige. 10 out of 10 would recommend if you're looking for like a very, very sheer color, but primarily moisture and shine. Let's look at the Maybelline Lifter glosses. You know, I think I'm going to keep all of these. This one in the shade Silk is not my favorite shade. It's got a little bit too much pinkiness to it. Not enough to make me hate it. And then I have the shades Opal and Stone, which are both just like neutral, everyday wearable, easy layering colors. No reason to get rid of these. I like them. I like the formula fine. It's not like my absolute favorite, but I think it's a nice drugstore option. I like that they have a bunch of different shades. I like that they have some with shimmer and some that aren't. So keeping. I'm also going to keep all of my Nero Beauty, which is a small, independent, woman-owned business. I believe they took a hiatus for a period of time, but I think they're back now. And they make these lip glosses that they call lip masks because they are very, very nourishing. And I have very picky lips. Like my lips will dry out in half a second. And these actually do keep my lips very nourished. So I really, really like the formula. I will say they have a bunch of different shades. On my lips, at least, the shade doesn't necessarily matter as much. It's kind of like the Summer Fridays where it's like, it's sheer pigment. And then as my lips are being moisturized, I feel like the pigment kind of goes away as my lips are absorbing it. So the color doesn't really matter as much in these, but if you can just pick one like neutral color that you like the look of, If you have dry, like sensitive lips like me, I think you would really like these. This NYX, this is Juice Gloss. I know people like this. For me, this is trash. I do not like this at all. I made a TikTok about it. You know it's bad if I made a TikTok about it, because I don't really do like anti-haul content or like hate content. I don't hate NYX. Obviously, I have a ton of their products. I'm gonna keep both of these other NYX lip glosses that I have, the Butter Gloss and the This Is Milky Gloss. It smells like the makeup that we used to buy at Limited Too. It smells, I think I said in the TikTok, like it just reminds me of like Lizzie McGuire. The scent is honestly kind of sickening. It kind of gives me a headache. Which I know, it's like I'm like the only person that doesn't like this. I feel like these were really viral at one point, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like it's just a clear gloss, but it's just the scent that gets me. The Essence Juicy Balm also has that really strong smell. I mean, it's definitely clears makeup. This one is in the shade Pink Lemonade. But this one's tolerable. This one I can live with it because, I don't know, I just like the gloss more. I feel like it does more for my lips. The NYX one is a little bit drying, so I'm actually going to keep this one until it starts to drive me crazy, and then I'll probably get rid of it. I've got these 3 Michaela and Glamlight lip glosses. Not my favorite formula. They're very thin. I like a thicker, more nourishing kind of a product on my lips, but I mean, they're fine as like a topper. This is another one I haven't tried yet. I've just swatched it. I was sent it in a BoxyCharm, I think. It's from Sweet Street and it's in the shade Comet. It looks like a really pretty color and it's got lots of shimmer to it, which typically I don't love, but I want to keep trying this one because it's pretty new. So I'm going to keep it. This is the Tom Ford gloss in the shade Impulse. I got this at the Cosmetics Company outlet store where I get all of my Tom Ford makeup, and I love this. I really, really, really love this. I really love this lip gloss, like enough to where I would probably repurchase a Tom Ford lip gloss at full price, which is dangerous because I don't need to spend my money on that. But if you were wondering, like if you just want to have a bougie lip gloss, I really do like the Tom Ford lip gloss formula. This one, if you have been around on my channel, you'll know I'm working on a panning project. It's the Laura Mercier Lip Glacé in the shade Bare Baby. Used to be one of my favorite formulas, not so much anymore, so I'm just trying to work on finishing this up, and I'm getting pretty close. So hopefully I'll have this finished up soon. The Sephora Clean Glossy Lip Oil, I really like this. It's in the shade Tamarind. The shade reminds me a lot of the Vanilla Beige from Summer Fridays. So this is pretty new, so I'm going to keep the Izamaya gloss because I think it's really unique. This is a plumping gloss though, so if I use this multiple days in a row, I really, really feel it on my lips, but it's that kind of like cool color changing black kind of a color. When you first put it on, it literally just looks black, but it adapts to like the temperature of your skin and turns like a really pretty berry color on the lips. Maybe it's not gonna do it on my hands, so this is just a really ugly black swatch, but I promise on the lips it ends up having a nice effect. So I'm gonna keep this one. I guess I'm gonna keep both of my Fenty Beauty glosses. I don't know, I feel like everyone loved these too, and weirdly, I like the Fenty Beauty Heat more than I like the regular one, which is very strange because I'm not a huge fan of plumping glosses, but this one for some reason doesn't bother me. So I have Fussy Heat and then I have Sweet Mouth in the regular gloss bomb. I probably wouldn't repurchase, but I will keep them and use them. And then I'm trying to think what to do with this. It's a hand-me-down, I feel sure, from my mom because it's Estee Lauder. Pure Color Envy in the shade Red Extrovert. I think I'm going to keep this because it's my only red gloss. It's actually very bright and it goes almost like a hot pink. Because I don't have another red gloss right now, I'm going to hold on to this if I feel like I wanted to put a gloss on top of a red lipstick for some reason. But again, I'll revisit when I get to the next declutter. Okay, folks, that's the end. I feel like my declutters were pretty thought out and mindful, and I wasn't getting rid of anything just to get rid of a bunch of stuff for the sake of the video. That's not me. But this is also why I'm trying to tamp down on my beauty spending, because I hate having stuff that's just sitting and going bad in my collection. And I also want to be a smarter consumer in the future and doing my research now that I know better what my preferences are in makeup, so that I'm not buying a bunch of stuff that I end up just hating. I mean, it's bound to happen from time to time, but for the most part, I feel like I could be a better judge about what I'm going to like and what I won't. As I said, I'm not going to be decluttering eyeshadow palettes because I don't think I'm going to be getting rid of any eyeshadow palettes right now. I feel like my eyeshadow palette collection is still mostly pretty new and mostly in good condition, and I still have quite a few palettes that I haven't used every shade in yet, so I don't have my full thoughts on yet, and I would like to get to know my palette collection a little bit more. So I think what I'm going to do for my next video is a palettes on the chopping block style video where I go through and tell you like the palettes that I would declutter if I had to declutter some, and also think through with you like projects that I could put them in or ways that I could get some more use out of them. So anyway, I'll leave it there because I know this video is probably already super long, but please do subscribe if you would like to see my palettes on the chopping block video. I hope you enjoyed watching through these declutters. If anything, just to see my collection, because I haven't done a collection video before. If there's anything that I talked about that you'd like to see from me, let me know, and I'll try to incorporate any products of interest into future videos. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one, and I will talk to you then. Bye.